Hey, UQ TV followers, viewers, supporters, and listeners across the globe. Thank you for tuning in to another live, insightful topic that we can all reflect on from time to time. Why? Because a lot of us relate to each other in more ways than none. The veil is literally being lifted about that. You know what I'm saying? The devil will have us to look at each other's lives and continue to compare, which opens the door to what we call envy and strife. I just don't feel like it's healthy to sit around and compare your life with everybody else's every day. But what we can do is talk about relatable experiences, even if those experiences seem far fetched. For example, it's Halloween month, so you have more people sharing personal experiences of ghost stories or demonic possessions and things like this they have actually witnessed. You wouldn't just sit around and compare your story with another person's ghost story, would you? No, you would more find the points and tips where both of y'all's stories might relate to one another, because the total relation is the ghost stories in themselves. Like, I haven't heard two people with the same exact ghost story ever, right? But we'll look at our lives and do that. And I feel like, yeah, the internet and social media has people doing it more. But anyways, I just wanted to make that clear for the record as we start this segment. You guys, I'm calling this part two to my Justice for Baby Amarie segment. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month of 2025. Every October has been reserved for domestic violence awareness. Of course, there's other awareness months as well that you can expect to learn more and become more aware right here with channels like You Will Make You TV. So if that, let that be your reason of subscribing, if anything, and not just to try to follow I don't know what people be following. You know what I'm saying? And people act like we control the intent of why people choose to follow us or why they choose to subscribe. No, we do not control the intent of that. But our main goal is to continue to spread inspiration, insightful, relatable topics. Okay, even if the story is tragic, it can sound tragic to you, but you would be surprised how many people have relatable tragic stories, right? I hate how people just pretty much find a way to demonize anything somebody do, when it could whole be serving a purpose for others in a powerful way. So I'm back with part two because I left off talking about how, well, a lot of people wanted to know, will the children, because the article I saw was saying that a witness walked past, because I did some more research since I did the first live reaction about this story. But now the articles I'm seeing is saying that a witness actually did, like a bystander, a witness actually walked by and saw the kids doing this to this 5-year-old. Now, I don't know if the witness themselves is the one who ended up calling for help or for the baby. Even if it was, thank God for witnesses, right? Nobody but the devil gonna hate that witnesses happen to be around, or bystanders. Nobody but the devil would. But can we take a minute to just thank God for every witness that he preserves, every witness that he protects? Because it's like sometimes you're a willing witness and other times you really were just a bystander. You happen to be in the midst. You happen to be in the environment. And that's how you become. We talk about witnesses a lot, but it's like, do we talk enough or break it down even deeper that some people be, I ain't gonna say unwilling witnesses, but they just didn't ask to witness whatever it was they saw? Because I think any one of us who could have walked up or came across something like that, actual babies abusing another baby, like literally outside. Outside, we ain't talking about in somebody's public house where somebody was low-key spying on somebody. We're talking about this event happened whole outside, where kids go out to play. So people were wondering, oh, okay, so are they going to be charging the kids, the 8, 9, and 10-year-old? Because I know a lot of people were saying it was just an 8 and 10-year-old, but allegedly, according to the witness, it was actually 3 kids surrounding the 5-year-old and whatever they were doing or involved in. But for some reason, we're only seeing reports that maybe two two were, might be being held accountable, or two were taken into custody or something like that. So once again, you got to give these stories time to unravel, unfold. That's the thing about the news too. You can watch 12 different news platforms about the story, and every one of those stories, they could be similar, but it seemed like, they all give different information. So you have to give these type of stories time to unfold, in my opinion. Let the investigators do their job as well. And I mean, unless it's like a first 48 situation, it's not always common that a case is figured out in a week or two, or you know what I'm saying, just because the public wants answers. But you even see people get a little more impatient these days as well. So I'm not going to say it's wrong or right. Of course, when you want justice, you want justice. So you feel like investigations should go as fast as you think they should. But I would say that's not really being, it's not really realistic. You got to give people time to do a thorough investigation on what is going on. Because, illusions are real, or people lying and what they feel and think is real. So why not let thorough, it's just something suspicious to me to people who try to rush what should be thorough investigations. It's just something weird about that, because how are you going to find out what was all fully really going on, or how it transpired? So that's people, it seemed like the public's main concern too. They just want to know, like, who's going to be charged, the mom or the kids? And I just say detectives should pay attention to that. Like, look how close people be paying attention to that. And they feel like every case going to be handled the same. Depending on the state that you are in, that's how cases are handled as well. Just dropping some jewels of reminders that help us get through these tragic stories as well as we process them. Because even though it might not be your own personal child or whatever, natural empaths can naturally feel what another parent or another victim could be going through when they try to sit there and tell their story. So for the most part, you just see them sharing, the mom trying to share her story and her emotions about what's been going on, with tears all in her eyes, man. If it ain't like some people trying to trigger some type of war, because before baby Amarie's story even came out, y'all, you had school shootings, and those were happening all across the country. Like, the states vary at this point with those, like, mass shootings or attacks against schools. That was already going on, and every time they claim the shooter is 21 or younger, which I wouldn't say is a baby, but it still was young people attacking young people, is my point. What did people think that was when, like, school shootings happen? Okay, let's go a little further. You have reports at schools that certain arguments, fights, or beef that people was having on TikTok, Instagram. These are students now, kids. They would bring those type of energies and beef. They would let it follow them to school. And then you have all these school fights, and school fights have always been a thing, but notice, you know what I'm saying, you have more reports and stories of children actually bringing harmful substances or weapons to the schools. I'm just telling people, this is not new. You remember that story of the 6-year-old who brought a weapon to school and literally hurt his teacher with it? Like, literally used the weapon, and this baby was 6 years old. But people are acting so appalled and shocked about the fact that the abusers to this 5-year-old was kids. I'm not saying we should compare the stories. I'm saying how it does seem to be a pattern. But now it's just more in people's face, especially if a mom, all she did was drop her kid off at a babysitter. Once again, people want to know, is the babysitter going to be charged, or are the parents of the kids going to be charged, or the kids themselves going to be charged? Okay, we had one commenter in the background that said, in her opinion, all of them should be charged. To me, not the mama. You act like because mamas take their kid to a babysitter, they just expect something like that to happen. Or maybe that's the point. People got to wake up to that. People could be smiling all in your face, making it like, oh, your child's going to be in good care after you drop them off somewhere. once again, we were talking about on yesterday's stream how you have to remember that everybody run their household different. Some people, if they got a household full of kids, whether they babysat kids or their own kids or just their kids' friends, everybody run their house different. Some people let the kids run in and out the door all day, as long as they being kids, right? I'm not gonna say I disagree with it, but I was even explaining to my own kids why I'm not like that. Like, I totally know I have the option or the choice to let kids run in and out my door all day if I wanted to, right? It's my property. But it's just something I choose not to do. And they could be like, well, our friends do it, and they friends go in and out the door all day, and they can bring in whoever, and they just hang out and go to each other's houses. I've been said and felt and thought a long time ago that that's not really, I couldn't really understand families that operate like that, because how are you fully watching the kids and they running in? I can see if they running in to check in, because you got to check in with your parents from time to time. But every household is ran different. Some people give the kids a little more freedom, and they say, "Oh, they're kids. They all outside playing." But look what happened with this baby. So they all outside playing, but how you know the bigger kids ain't out there punching or bullying or just trying to set up situations for a whole nother group of kids or one individual child? Because this baby was only 5 years old. That's why people want to know, they're really tuned into this story just to see like who ultimately will be charged, what will ultimately be the outcome. Because regardless of who they feel like should be charged, this victim though has to now face a life, not that healing is bad, but has to spend a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of energy, and just to healing and trying to get a better understanding into understanding what even happened to her. Because at 5 years old, you wouldn't understand that. You just thought you could trust some kids, right? You thought you were outside playing with some other kids. Like, this story is so crazy to me, bro. How, like, everybody in society thought it was different to just throw down their opinions of how kids should be handled and how kids should be. In my opinion, the type of stuff that's been coming out on the news and being revealed too, you would think of all people, I know it's podcasters and people going out there to do No King's Day and people protest things in different ways, but I was just wondering, when will we see CPS and children's services advocacy programs? I hope they're some of the ones that plan to go to No King's Day protests and stuff like this. You would think they were coming together on their own to shout out things. I guess that's never been CPS's kind of MO. Like, they don't go out to protest and stand up for but some of these stories, to me, they could be so severe and so crucial. Another thing I thought about, I said, is it like somebody sitting up here staging stuff to make people in those type of seats, jobs and positions, job challenging all of a sudden? That's what I've been noticing too. They want to set up the kind of stories that make a whole judge or a whole CPS investigator say, "Oh my God, what should I do? What should I do with this?" Because what do you do with stories where it's whole kids carrying out violent acts to other kids? But it's not new. It's just not new. Like, you already hearing these stories circulate where violent acts would happen right there on school grounds in some states. Because what did you think bullying is? When kids bully another kid, what did you think that was? Or because this story is just a little bit more gruesome and graphic, people want to pay attention now. Awareness to me is reminding people that it's okay to teach your kids what a safety plan is. Y'all know they got many methods of ways, we can keep up with and track our kids even if they're not in our physical sight and care at that moment. Well, one of the top ways I'm talking about is what? Cell phones, maybe Google location. But then again, at 5 years old, you see why people keep their toddlers close to them. Hell, it's some moms out here lately, they will not publicize this whatsoever. They'll just say more people are not working. Maybe more people are putting their kids first, because if you can't trust them with the babysitter and at the daycares and at the school, where would you be leaving them? But people say, oh, you're just lazy. You're using that as an excuse. You can't call people lazy, and these are real news stories out here of things that have transpired with kids just in 2025 alone. And where was the parent? Oftentimes at work somewhere. I'm a part of that group that believe, a lot of the young mothers shouldn't have been leaving their babies at home with like quote unquote boyfriends just because they trusted their boyfriend and they was trying to keep a job. It was a lot of stories on the news too of boyfriends who obviously didn't have a lot of patience, because it takes patience too. You can talk about how a person is yelling and fussing all you want to. I say it takes patience. You're not ready for no kid just because you dating a person with kids. Who told people that? But I guess they don't look at that. They just like, well, I want the person. I want to date the person. I'm not really caring if I'm the best caring person with kids. But see, the mothers have to consider that. The fathers as well. There's been some stories out here of some fathers, right, who find out later that in secret, his little old girlfriend, that ain't even your fiance, wife, nothing, ain't treating a child like equal. Because the guys, they'll try to go to work too and leave their children with girlfriend and stuff like that. But that don't mean she's having the best care with your kid. Because see, that's not her biological kid. Or with the men, those are not their biological kids. I say it go both ways. A babysitter, though, that's not even somebody you dating. You see what I mean? But I'm talking about the people we date and entertain. They was just like, young women, stop bringing these men, stop moving in with them so fast. And they can't lie that they are doing it, because like platforms like TikTok, like social media just expose so much more about people's lives, right? It's their life, and we're not here to judge it at You Will Make It TV. Because a lot of people have had to start roommating and looking at new options just to manage, just to pull together and pay rent and bills every month. So we're definitely not judging relationships at You Will Make It TV. What I'm saying is, people are not taking the time to get to know people like they used to before they just jump and move in when divorce rates have increased. Number one. Number two, I think it's so much toxicity in modern day dating society as well, because everybody want to use the term love bombing, but if this ain't the age and generation that have used love bombing like never before, because like, why else would you move in with a person so quick? Or why would you call a person crazy because they not trying to do that so quick? You gonna look at a person up and down? That's just entitled. No, just because you're dating somebody, especially if who you're dating has children, yeah, they do need to consider getting to know you better before they because to me, that's one of those major decisions in life. Purchasing your first home, renting your first home, the whole home buying process or leasing process is a big step for a lot of people, whether it's your first time or that's how serious renting and leasing and purchasing a home is. That's serious, mature, grown folk business. It affects so much of your life. Why would a woman just settle and move in with just anybody, or anybody just move in with her? So they'll take it deeper. I think they think too, well, you've heard people say that. It's like people believe that beggars cannot be choosers, for example. So if a woman is struggling or a man is struggling and who he's dating wants to outstretch their hand and say, hey, you can come stay here. You feel down on your luck. I still say those situations, let me make that clear, This is just my reaction and commentary. Those situations should not automatically lead you to move in with somebody you haven't got to know that well yet. You don't know if you're compatible with, you don't even know if they're compatible with kids or if they're compatible with your kids. They could have a pet, they could have other family members, they could know other kids, but what are y'all compatible? Cause see, living together is a whole deeper it's a whole deeper agreement there. So, and somehow these girls get comfortable, like, oh, I'm gonna leave them at home with him while I go to work, because work is like a whole 8 hours on a regular shift, and that's if you ain't doing overtime. Or part-time is still a whole good 4 or 5 hours. That's a long time to leave any kid with anybody, period. You tell me what job they just working an hour or two every day. Even an hour or two is a long time to be away from your kids. People want to underestimate the parents out here, but you will speak on the other side too. Let me find out that they just trying to low key indirectly abuse parents, bro. Just push dismiss. Yes. Uh yeah. Cause you would speak on like, oh, well, the quote I was gonna use. Y'all know we do inspirational quotes too over there on the short side. But the in our shorts, check them out. Hit the like button. Give us a view anytime. But these are insightful discussion weekly topics when I come do this over here. But as a quote, real quick, they'll call you. They'll call you lazy when you're not doing nothing at all. When you seemingly not doing nothing at all. And then when you get to, because if you got kids, yeah, you're like a busy person most of the time. I'm even learning more about routine scheduling and stuff with a class I'm taking right now. And it's so crazy. It can seem so basic, but I was like, woo, I needed this. Because that's a part of time management too. Like or they don't want us to think about it. They want you to write your daily tasks. But if you got kids, I'm sorry, that's a part of your daily task, whether they at school or not. You should always feel like, hey, I'm so within close vicinity. All my child got to do is call, or whoever close to my child got to do. Like, how are you not still a parent because they away from your care for a second? But we see the devil. A little 5-year-old, regardless of where the community or neighborhood was, it's just sad if a 5-year-old can't go outside for a second. Even another good Samaritan could have like, hey, do y'all know where this baby's supposed to be? Because you could look up and just see a baby that young walking down the street. That would test any one of our I would say sainthood in that moment, right? You could pass it and say, hey, this ain't my business at all. But it's a whole child. You know what I'm saying? Even if you just put in a word, hey, I'm just making sure that child is okay when they that young, for sure. If they playing with kids, you don't know if they just friends or neighborhood buddies, or are they all being babysat together, or is it a little daycare group? You don't know. But if you see them with somebody, you just assume. There was a man saying that he was a Caucasian man, but he had a daughter who loved him dearly. Actually, they share their story a lot on social media, but they don't mean when they go out in public that people would understand seeing that duo together sometimes, or maybe they would judge it less if they see him with a woman, regardless of what race the woman is. It seemed like he would get less judgment. But if he just come in a place in public by himself, with his own legally, even if it was adopted guardianship, he would come in places legally, that's his family member, even though she's another race, and people would still look at them too and like just immediately judge him because they could see he was much older. And I think it's a plethora of stories out there like that, of just people who get judged because they adopted a child of another race, right? So he didn't owe people an explanation. People would tell you that all the time. It's like in those situations, wouldn't you say you almost forcing a parent to tell you, oh, this my adopted daughter, no, or this my adopted son, or no, this my adopted mom. We good? You know what I mean? You don't even know the person. They just trying to check on the actual minor. Why? Based off of race? Obviously, people are looking at the wrong thing here. It's like, yeah, it do matter, but you could be the same race as a child and still not be in the best care in the world. They was judging that man because he was white and his adopted daughter was black, and probably that it was a female as well. Even though they saw her holding his hand and having fun and buying whatever she wanted off the shelves, even if she wasn't, he chose to share his story. And it went viral. Like, hey, I get this judgment sometimes just because this young child is a different race. So he already had to practice teaching that to her within the home dynamic. It was just something they had to discuss a lot, so he could probably make sure his daughter would understand why they got certain stares and looks, and that's not normal for a kid. See how they can have a healthy life, but you're making it toxic just how you look at them every day. You're making their life toxic. It's an outside influence. Long as they know they love each other, cool, right? That don't mean everywhere they go they supposed to stay in the house because she's adopted, because people don't agree. Like, well, is she okay? They just automatically go to conclusions. There's people that go through that every day just because they have maybe mixed kids or they adopted kids of another race. That's been going on out here. They just not probably talking about it as, like I said, those stories are out there though. They out there on social media. They get comments like, some people do show some type of like, hey, we're sorry what you're going through. That ain't even fair. You just adopt a kid. That's a great thing. Some people would never ever help a kid in the system ever in their life, but they be the ones speaking on the ones that at least try to be a help like that in the world. Because like foster parents, I say they have their place in the world too. Like on Mother's and Father's Day, they also receive accolades because they're still real parents. Another tip of advice or awareness, like my kids personally know, I just have never, if it wasn't somebody close to us, y'all are probably not going over for sleepovers or spending the night. Just the ages they always were, because people got to understand they turn a new age every year. Any real parent know they not on the same level or page every year. Literally, you just looking at them as that kid. That kid is growing into their own being as well. So it's not really the kids who get to choose and dictate ever. No, I'm going over here. I'm spending 2 or 3 nights. Because even just in temporary babysitting situations, like I said, the average work shift is 8 hours. Ain't it? Overtime shift might be 12 hours, 14 hours. They have work labor laws. You're not supposed to be working too long at a period of time. But if you're an entrepreneur, it gets interesting because you might have days that you do push yourself like that. You don't have a boss telling you, hey, you got to clock out. You just did too many hours trying to reach your weekly goal. You know what I mean? It's you pacing yourself at this time. And I said, those time scheduling tips and task schedulers and stuff for parents are always great as well, too. Because if you do end up having to resort into that kind of work, and I saw how seemingly they might be actually penalizing us from like, I hope it doesn't go this way, but it's been a discussion in politics though, definitely allowing how they might end up, they could maybe consider banning like side gig, side hustle. I would really probably voice up about that at that time if it go that far, because it's like now you're just being, how does that even make sense? People have worked for themselves since the early ancient civilization days. Like, that would be crazy. Even if they were just a carpenter or the one that sold clothes for the village, the one who sold the fabrics. the one who hunt the meals. Those are all like personal tasks. Those are like entrepreneurial efforts to feed your family, bro. So why would you try to control? Of course, what's illegal, I understand that, but just stopping people from doing side gigs and side hustles and working for themselves, even if they're just a doing business as type of effort, or they actually have a business established. To me, that's crazy because, yeah, ain't like 70% of the world parents? You can have parenting topics all you want to. 80% of the world, 70%. I need to go look it up. I know it's a large percent of people that have at least one child today. And we're talking both genders, both just like, how do we think the population became this? And people want to sweep the children topics under the rug. No, or only bring them up when somebody's been severely. It's been kids out here with big dreams and goals, and I don't know how to explain it, because it is a touchy topic for us all, right? But bullying been going on, like that's where it kind of, kids already go through that before some adult decide they wanted to do it. You got kids, all kids out there ain't nice. Still falls back on the parents, don't you say? Because why are your kids treating people like that? That's why I told y'all, it's just a trending topic right now. Some agree that they should be more looked at, like the parents of the actual abusers, whether they were in the babysitter's care or not. We know the 5-year-old, she had her own babysitter or whatever. They can look at and talk to her too. But with the ones that's like, and then you teaming up on one child, yeah, you need to be looked at as a parent. What are you teaching them at home? At least you'll have that to say. To just sit there and make it up, oh, I teach them not to do that, that ain't gonna be enough. Like they have a whole victim on their hands here. Or have people been grouping up and bullying up against them? Because that's not something you just, at 8 through 10 years old, you already had a mentality. We grouping and ganging up on a whole nother younger child than us. Like, what direction, what are they seeing in the household, in their environment, what neighborhood they stay in? Like, what's going on? 8 through 10, though. We didn't say no other age range. And y'all already, come on, let's group up. You hold the hand, you do this. None of us want to think about it, but that's pretty much what's going through anybody bully up on somebody like that mind. That's what's going through their mind. Like, oh, let's group. Or like we were talking about yesterday, are people ready for that talk? Like, you'll watch movies about demonically possessed kids and stuff too, and pay money to go see these movies. Pay for the streaming app subscriptions and everything so you can watch these movies. It's Halloween month right now. Those are the even scarier ones, like Chucky, stuff to do with kids. It's like, how do you think these Hollywood movies make this money? People know that this is real? Or they want to be the dictators? Oh, if you don't get a priest opinion, you don't really know. No, use your own eyes and senses. You just telling yourself, I thought this was far-fetched. That's far. It's not far-fetched anymore. All of this stuff is close to home, anybody's home. Look at what Nicki Minaj just went through. You might say, don't compare her to what this young baby went through. Well, that's also just, I guess it's a form of bullying, hacking, going into somebody's bank account. It just shows it can happen to anybody. I'm telling people. The same stuff they was calling far-fetched for many years, far-fetched, it's now closer to home, in my opinion, and to anybody home. If your card can be stolen from, ain't that like home? That's one of your bank cards, or how you spend money. They was saying she need to question all her accountants, the designers, everybody, because Selena went through that. The young Latina singer who's not with us anymore, she went through that. She found out people were stealing from her. It's so stupid. Because none of them would be right. It's usually that person or that person's brand that's keeping everybody, the whole team, paid. It's just unfortunate when you see that. But the best of us could go through it. Like, no, everybody decided to come together. No, we're going to steal from this person. This person got it. And when they close to your accounts and stuff like that, which is still close to home, it's just crazy. You show anybody anything can be closer and closer to home. God has given me many dreams. That's why it probably seemed like I could just talk about it more openly or something. Like it's normal or something to me. I wouldn't say that tragic situations, or what is a better term? Because to me, I've been trying to tell people there are different levels of emergency crisis, period. Even the nation believes that when something gets to the level of a crisis, they'll actually declare it as a crisis. Because that's like you have so many cases of the same thing going on at the same time. You try to intervene with as much prevention and help and aid as you can. It's a crisis. Just to remind people too. It just seemed like everybody have this greater obsession with like sex now too. And people just want to be careful. Like they'll watch all these scary movies, like I said. And it's like, shout out to the chat. What poo poo? Those movies show us though. What's a good example? Have y'all seen Resident Evil? Happy Halloween to everybody out there though. From You Will Make It TV. Don't y'all eat too much candy and stuff, and make sure that you're checking the items and stuff before you're letting the kids. And they always say check it, but it's like, what is check it these days? People put, you just got to really be careful. Make sure that the candy is sealed, and just kind of look over it before they indulge in that way. And they tell us that every year. They tell us that every year. Well, us with parents, that's what I mean when I say us. I mean us that are parents and guardians and have kids in the family. You got to check the candy and stuff when they go trick or treat. But Resident Evil is specifically about that. Like a lab gets exposed. Just a regular work lab that people were working every day gets exposed to some type of gas that was accidentally released. It just ended up spreading through the whole building. So we know when something is in the air, that's one type of contagion. When you start needing masks and gas masks, you know something serious is going on. But when it's in the air, it's kind of harder to probably see where it's coming from or what's going on. But as the movie goes, pretty much everybody in that building became infected. They weren't just looking at them being affected and infected. It was also how quick it happened. It wasn't like 24 hours or 5 hours. So somebody cuts on the button, or the building was so AI. And y'all know Resident Evil came out a while ago. So some of the things in that movie actually don't look far-fetched. Hey, poo-poo. Yeah. Some of the things in that movie don't look far-fetched at all. Thank you. The AI was so advanced, it locked the whole building security down on its own. It's like somebody just push a button for emergency, and whatever kind of AI technology they were exhibiting in that movie, it locked the building on its own. Like, I was like, that's the kind of security I'm talking about. Now that seems like a good security system to have, where AI automatically shuts it off and turns it back on. But in the movie, it showed how it could be a bad thing, because they actually ended up not being able to get out of the building. But the system was trained to shut it down in the face of danger. So that means, yes, even if something is spreading and that's a danger, it was just weird because it actually locked the workers inside of the facility. Thank you.
Mom.
Here.
No, what's my soda?
Oh, I don't have any of that. Here, you want some water?
No.
Yes.
Hey.
Here, water's better. And everybody that got trapped in this workplace in this movie is called Resident Evil. I think they got like 5 parts to it now, though. They even got a video game. I heard the video game is very scary. It's just as horror as the movie. They say the video game is actually better. Because it showed in the movie how anything that was in vicinity of this virus, once it hit the earth, everybody got affected. Even the animals turned into zombie like. It was a sickness of the brain. Thank you. It was so weird. It's a crazy movie. Like, if you really think about it, Resident Evil is a crazy movie. From the AI technology that it showed, that it, even with a sickness or a virus spreading. Um,
Mom, I want
and
stickers.
people think it's fun to just be out here doing whatever. Because if one area get too infected or affected, you know what they've always done in movies about that? It's pretty scary to think about. People want to be out here just doing whatever activities and doing those activities with anybody. Anybody that's believers to stop telling people they should live a different way. It ain't trying to take the freedom from people. If anything, in some countries you have freedom these days. These is modern day times. Of course, if you're tampering with food, tampering with germs, just tampering with things in a, I don't know what else to call it, an ungodly way. What do you expect to happen? I'm telling people plagues, because plague is like a level where everybody getting it. Well, I don't know. That's my description of it. That's not just some type of contagion. A plague is very hard to contain and try to get rid of. And it's so weird. It's like they just out here trying to. People do see that. What? Infect or affect everybody? You ain't gonna do nothing but have to end up putting everybody in a controlled environment. And those people with white suits have to come in with those gas masks on. And they set up, people think this can't really happen though. You kind of saw it with COVID-19. They had the tables out in public where you can come and get a free screening. Even just if you think you might have had it or you're just trying to make sure you don't have it. Some jobs and schools required you to go get it just to make sure you didn't have it. You see? So it really can happen. But it's all kind of sicknesses. It's just crazy. Nobody really talking about that, but that's been exposed too. Like more and more people just in a like long-term illnesses, a lot of stuff, and it's younger people. So I was saying yesterday, population control is scary to think about. All I'm saying, if you're gonna do, I believe in it. If you're gonna do experiments on people, make sure they know. Cause y'all very well will lock, the movies already showed us, you'll lock people in a town or an area if you feel like they're too, like they didn't, and there's some documentaries out there on some experiments. We all know this. I'm not telling y'all nothing new. But like real experiments, some people, they were aware before they went into them. Some are classified, some are not. Thank you. Put it on your hand. We were talking about yesterday how kids also experiment. They do that naturally, like they're already curious beings. But it's so weird. I guess people never grow out of it. Like they grow up and they still want to experiment. They become scientists, doctors. But you don't necessarily have to be in those career fields to be somebody who loves to conduct experiments. And it's scary to think about because depending on what people are into, you don't know what kind of experiment they're trying to unleash or unveil over people. I'm going ahead and calling it what it is, like what it looked like. Cause like with some things, it's just so unnatural. You're like, and it affects so many people. How are you not calling it a crisis or some type of plague or sickness? Cause it's been in the news. Like more people are infected. To be honest, y'all, whole areas supposedly. Let's talk about this for a second. But you got people out here handling babies in this way. It's already saying in some major cities across I'm gonna say across the world, but definitely in certain countries, and they want to cover that side of reality of everybody want money. If you're destroying all the product of the world, it just seems stupid. You're damaging everybody with diseases. So what are you doing? It's almost like people expect World War III to be some huge catastrophe when they're forgetting whole sicknesses and illnesses is called some type of that's also used in warfare. If you could just take everybody out that way, that's crazy that people think like that. They don't mind. Actually, usually people look for solutions if they hear contagions or diseases or just things could spread and affect a lot of people. Usually people want to work on it. We don't have, it's like God allowing it too. People don't have time. Here, drink this. Here, drink it. If you're more focused and as healthy as you can be as far as out of the way of something that's spreading, and it's even showing it on the news. It's like they just watching. Let's see how long it takes for people to start paying attention to this. Even more babies being born with it. That's when I knew something more unnatural is going on. Even during COVID, people told people, well, it's just COVID-19. People believed that's what the name of whatever was spreading was. Oh, it's just COVID-19. How you know there wasn't some type of something else? It's just weird that people are not thinking about that. And we just went through that not too long ago. Or you're so distracted. We're so distracted by the actual physical human crimes as well. Because that falls using those type of weapons against people. Like sickness warfare. When people know sickness is a whole part. It shouldn't be. But in modern day times, when everybody thought it was great to have all these multiple partners that they're laying around with, because we know kids come from somewhere. And yes, I said multiple because just as many marriages are still prevalent today. There's a lot of just babies being made type situations going on too. I think it matter, man. I'm gonna come back here and start talking about this more on You Will Make It TV because, like, it matters for everybody. You know, you can't pick a group of people and just be like, yeah, they make the most babies out of wedlock. Just in modern day times, all kind of races can be single parents today. That's weird for anybody just to even try to bring that back. Like, it is kind of cool. I ain't gonna say cool. But it's crazy to see that after so many battles already with racism and colorism and sexualism, all these laws change, and people are still not happy. Like these laws of freedom that should make people feel more protected to be who they feel like they naturally are. It's like 1 + 1 gotta equal 2. How is everybody so free and doing everything they want to do and controlling everything they want to control, but disease rates are out the window? And you're trying to put it on the kids is like trying to already destroy the future, the next generation. Is stupid. As the generationalists of today, what are our thoughts and opinions and reactions to just even being, a part of society during times like now? What I was saying, for example, you ain't trying to put Houston on blast or Louisiana on blast or Chicago on blast. Any place where the news has reported, I think some places, South Carolina or North Carolina, have reported high case rates of a plethora of different STDs affecting people. It's like COVID. Like, oh, just ignore it. Like you can't ignore if it's already in the air. And is that how people always have been? Because y'all know when they said when knowledge of like long-term STDs first came out, people just stayed away from people when they heard what it really was and how easily it could spread. Because I heard it's only through like bodily fluid and it ain't just like you hanging out with them you can catch it. No, it's actually like drinking after them and you got a cut somewhere because this domestic violence awareness month. And of course, some people, that's what marriage is about. It's gonna say through sickness and health. It literally say that at the end, and people would try to use that. It's always been a part of STD. Like, I think we could all use more awareness at any time. People want to make it like they A1 in sexual education. If you're one of those A1 people, why are cases still like this happening, and then it's kids doing it to one another? We all know they learn behaviors like we talked about yesterday. Thought patterns, everybody got their own. They want to sit here and compare how people think. No, your thought patterns are even kind of like they're created through what you've seen and been through in life. Come on now. Or that can be natural too. I don't think your thought pattern is always something that you just control. But you can have more control about what you allow your mind to, like, what you put in it, what you invest in it. Thank you, boo boo. Here, take it and get down, because you're not gonna be up here. Thank you. Get down. Get down, boo boo. Thank you. I said that much though. Sitting there spreading stuff like that and passing it down to the kids, and people out here probably doing that intentionally, and kids doing it to one another. So y'all probably, some of y'all out there probably feel like there's no way a kid can give another kid an STD. If that other kid is already like been with a lot of people, kids don't understand that. That's why I'm like, now y'all just out here playing with people's health. And the next generation, you're playing with the whole future of society. Thank you. It goes to the water. Come on. How the next generation gonna get up, get married, or they're just gonna start probably making more. Because yesterday we were talking about that as far as awareness, how it's more modernized now. So you have rape kits, you have more. They have more tools to like get down to the bottom of these type of assaults too. As far as red flags, just have compassion on the women of today, or the parents of today, I should say rather, because you know you don't have to just be a woman to be a parent. Back in the day, you probably could more trust babysit. It was more like a village, and it ain't just like that no more. And you want people to live the same old way. Any parents, that's why they always said it was a healthier household when the mothers were more stay-at-home types. Some people never did believe in women working. Are they showing their faces in colors today? That's what You Will Make Your TV wants to know. Because, see, the women's movement, right, was a whole part of American history. It was a time that really was the way of the country. Like, women, you saw some at work, but it was like a rare occasion. Most of them literally their whole life of being a little girl, and this is in some other cultures too. They could play with toys and dolls and stuff sometimes, but the main thing was learning how to prepare you to be a wife one day. And in some countries, these are arranged agreements. It go back to that, I guess, as far as awareness, like knowing there was a whole time that not only was society like this, there were some people angry when it changed. They, because they actually were a part of this. This was just what, in the 40s? This wasn't that long ago. They watched women go to jobs. They watched women go start working positions and doing things in the world, bodybuilding and all kind of different arenas that had never been known for women. To me, that's what it is. I don't know why I don't talk more about what that is deep. Because even no matter what we believe, we all heard the Adam and Eve story before, and it does seem like it was the woman from the beginning with whatever is happening with mankind right now that was just like tempted above all other creatures. It was just her. She was the first. It had to be the woman. I just think you got a lot of people, and you don't have to be a man to be into that type of belief. Like, I feel like women should be at home. It's women that feel like that. That's why they stay home more. They said they not finna shift just because society said all women must go work 100 hours a month just to pay their bills. They might still work, but they work from home, or they have a entrepreneur side hustle gig. Or if they do change that, it shouldn't change for parents as workmanship laws and stuff like that in our nation. This is just my opinions. They should be able to keep whatever, however many strings of income they want open. You just want to keep it strings and spider webs wrapped around certain things, so it's hard for them to do that all of a sudden. We should never be hearing in the news that more women are being laid off and losing their jobs. Make that make sense. We know it's happening to all sexes, but women too. And they talked about just since like ICE agents and all this stuff been going on, people been losing their jobs too. Like all this stuff happening at the same time. What you call a layoff, that ain't you being fired or you did something, or that means you're getting some time to find out. They're gonna let you know probably 30 days, 2 weeks in advance. Hey, we're finna let you go. We're making budget cuts, so we gotta let some people go. Usually everybody had questions. Well, why you letting me go? Because everybody believe they're a good worker when they have a job. I've been laid off before. I think it's been a long time though. Everybody did. It's just where I was working. If you was a seasonal worker, they had already let you know like they rarely keep those. So we went into that contract knowing that like, hey, this is only gonna be to August. At the time it's May. And you like, okay, cool. I get this money for now. Like women have made money all kind of ways. Maybe God want me to speak up about it more too. Especially during these times. Trust me, there are some women out here that still believe in actual honest and fulfilling work. Some people just looking at it as successful work. What is success? Success to you can mean something different to the next woman. Some people just want to live comfortable lives. They're not greedy. They don't want 10 cars. And not to say we're not talking down against those that are that blessed. That's a lot to manage. Everybody want a lot to possess, but possess is just possess. Are you keeping up those things? That's managing it. You get a car, you got to keep it fixed, the oil change, the tires and all that just on one. And people be out here bragging about having 20 cars. I know you more of a busy person, or now you got to pay more people to help you keep up with all them cars. Unless you just got them parked somewhere. But it's just an example of what I mean. Get down, Boom. Get down. Now. Thank you. Put that back in there. Put it back in there. And y'all know people don't pick their... I know we already have that discussion like, oh, we don't ask to be here. But another deep way to look at it is nobody asked to be the sex they were born is. And some people were born a man and a woman. It's really, really, really real. They didn't control that. And they parents have to choose right there at the hospital which like genital do you want, or do you want this child to keep both? I saw, y'all know that one channel on YouTube where it's called Extraordinary Stories? That's where I saw one of those stories. But this one had chose to stay a man, but was born with both organs. And people, no. I think this one kept both organs. That's what was interesting about the story. So they just had a lot of questions in the documentary for this person. Now, how can a person like that control what they're like attracted to? You were born with like both parts. Like, look how natural anatomy shows us stuff. Just like most people aren't born like that though. And they still didn't get to choose like which sex they would be. It's kind of crazy to come into a world of life being, I don't know, at any part of your life feeling like you're being scrutinized for what you believe, especially when you're a woman, when you always have freedom like everybody else. Maybe they showing people, all right, we tried this movement that everybody that everybody thought was so great, right? Cause there's some healthy working women. Y'all ain't seen more and more people, families on TikTok. You can see their life. They have big, nice homes. Don't let the media control our minds and how we start looking at people and what groups and cultures and races they come from, and how they're taking care of their kids. The reason I brought that up is because, like, with this story, her baby wouldn't even been with the babysitter. If you already a stay-at-home mom, like it was in the 20, and I'm not judging the mother, I'm saying for all of us mothers and women to
I
look
want
like,
nurses.
look at in American society or modern day society in any country you're in.
I want nurses.
Some of them, you can't judge them. That's a part of their culture and religion. The women stay home and they do the cooking and chores and homework and homeschool. Yeah, back in the day, there was families that did it like that, or they go to school, but the man is out working all day and the woman is preparing dinner and breakfast and packing everybody lunches for the next day. She's just at home more. Even with the royals, those princesses and queens, when they have a baby, you think they're doing much? They probably handle their affairs right more at the castle, like right there at home. They do travel and stuff like y'all see. They have things they have to do too. Your job don't stop just because you have kids. They want to understand that about the royals, but think the rest of us are what? You don't stop being a queen because a princess is born. Like, you still got a job to do every day. Now you just have probably more responsibilities. That queen still has to travel when the baby get old enough, go to events. They definitely have care for their kids as well when they have work to do. So, and they're usually called nannies. Thank you. You have it on the wrong foot. Or like Mr. Trump, for example, he has a family. Like, just because you're president, don't mean a family and your responsibilities and everything disappear. You know, you might have other people that still depend on you and your work and whatever it is you do every day. So, what are y'all opinions? Regardless of our opinions, I'm talking about what could potentially really turn into the future reality for everybody, though. I'm not saying I think they'll ever take. It's been proposed here and there and said in some of his public speeches, like I think even if they went back to like women not working, there would be certain provisional credits, and maybe because they're doing tariffs and all of that now too instead of taxes. But people wondering how food stamps and stuff is being cut off. Wasn't it the taxes that were helping to provide those funds for the states? So if he's changing taxes, of course all of this is going to change. People might as well go ahead and accept the reality. Yep, that means they already doing digital IDs in some countries already. That means their digital currency is coming soon as well. So all those changes were coming already probably, but it's just crazy to think about and know there is some people, no matter how long. I just agree with this. I wouldn't say I'm a feminist. I just say this is I'm a realist, and I don't believe everybody agreed with like women rights even from the time it came out, even if they're like religious people, or that is where it would be more prevalent if you think about it, like religious sects or more private groups. That's all that is. A bunch of people come together and really have a spite towards women being able to reach heights now. Like, even though it's modern day times, they feel like women should do what they want them to do with social media and what they want them to do in society. Okay, baby, you gotta get out. You can't be on there like that. I'm sorry. Ooh, I done went on and on with this topic. This part too. You never know who come through and listen in on the streams later. I'm not trying to sound feminist or sexist, guys. That is a real possibility that there are just groups of people out there, no matter what kind of followers they are, who believe and had already publicly started speaking on like to be honest, some were already saying they hate a certain group of people. They actually used the strong term hate. They hate a certain group of women already. They, you know what I'm saying? You got to talk about the slow progress through the timeline. They had just publicly coming out here speaking on the shortcomings of black women, of all women today. Literally, like it's like you watched it happen. Like suddenly these are more trending topics. Some say they even making sick jokes with the AI now. Making like these little skits of gorillas and crazy stuff just to symbolize and make the black family, especially the black mothers. We didn't just say black women, black mothers. They never gonna talk about a black mother without talking about her children. They had them like a family of monkeys and she's eating chicken and watermelon. Like these AI skits really are out there. Now, outside of people reporting them, there's no way, I guess, platforms just gonna know. They have so many people that use these platforms today. Unless you report seeing, and usually they have you give like a report reason, like what do you think is wrong with what you're reporting. You can say that you feel like it's racist, and people were reporting that skit, and they had a baby gorilla, a daddy gorilla, a mother gorilla, and a sister gorilla. So oh yeah, it was a whole black family. It wasn't no single mom, but they still found a way to make them look just a weird twisted way. Now you talk about a possibility of an agenda or some kind of motive. It's that for sure somebody already have a deep rooted hate against the new modern society that allows women to be more included in the main image of society. You know what I'm saying? That's all they can do is have opinions about it. They actually went further though. They're trying to change this within laws. More and more blogs and channels are talking about it, especially political ones. What do you think those abortion law rights movements were about, right? Law is starting to hit closer and closer to home when it comes to the, the bans and the rights of our literal personal bodies. And thank God it's actually happening. Regardless, we're not talking about the law specifically, but at least that more people are paying attention to how this affects society. We know if you don't vote or say nothing at all, or go to your local community meetings and stuff like that, they don't even hear your say so because you're not coming to the city hall meetings and stuff. But it is good to see more people learning about not only their rights, but how they can get activated and speak up. Because what are you saying? That's what America's always been about. Now you got people want to just us to make it easy, like no, y'all shouldn't be saying nothing, and this is the way we want to change it back. That is do seem to be one of the ways they want to make us great again, which is what women going stand back at home. And when I give my opinion about it, I say whether they changed the law or not, that way of living was coming back. Or they was just going to continue a generation of single parenting, a whole new generation. So that would mean the kids of today, when they grow up, they're also creating single parent homes. Let's not talk about the past. Let's talk about moving forward. That would mean people's sons are still having babies outside of marriage, and people's daughters are still having babies outside of marriage. When there's still a fresh, clean slate and opportunity here, actually. The kids of today are not like the future generations yet. They are, essentially, but they're not there yet. You see what she was doing? I'm being strong, getting through it. Girl, I'm going to take her to the playground later because she clearly needs to go. She kept getting mad because she couldn't put these boots on. But she didn't, girl. This topic is getting really really good. I'll have to come back with another one just on my reaction and commentary to me. Y'all know they just exposed again another hate group crime group chat. If it's new news to you, go look it up in your own free time. I'm not here to go over the specifics of the article, but I can tell you this much. They have the actual screenshots of some alleged group chat out here. Like it's just nothing but racist people in the group chat, apparently, or allegedly. And you can actually read some of the stuff that they were sending back and forth. I think it's been about 48 hours since I saw that on the news. Today's date marks 10/17/25, but it's just been a lot being unveiled before our eyes today. Cause like it's just anytime you see it, you'll say, "Oh, racism is wrong," but in modern day times, where you literally have all races of people doing, like, what do you think those TikTok dances is? Everybody be on there doing those. It don't matter what race they are. But then you got secret group chat meetings and stuff being leaked. That is so crazy. Like, and it shows all the messages of what the people were saying. If y'all want to know what some of it, I ain't gonna even say what some of it say. Just know it's on the news already. And of course, the group chat members or whatever it is, I guess they use code names and stuff, so you can't really see who it is. But that's what tells you that people know that it's grimy. That's why it's a secret. They know it's ill. You know what I mean? A lot of those messages were just them expressing, even through everything that's been going on in society and on the news today, them still finding the time to express how much they get. I'm glad stuff like that is being leaked and exposed, because it did seem like it was a lot of people out here trying to suddenly ramp back up the work of making the black family look, the black families, the black woman especially. They even created passport bros and all kind of different groups just to teach men how to walk away from black women, even if they had kids with them. They started groups, which it's legal to. Like, I don't know if they call that a cult. I don't know why that type of stuff is not called a cult. All of y'all join this group under the assumption that you are done dating one group of women. Yeah, I'm gonna just come with a different topic about that, cause I promise, and it was different influencers blowing up at that time. Uh, I'm not talking about Mr. Kevin Samuels. It was another guy. What's his name? Derek Jackson. Just like influencers like them. I'm not here to talk about them in a negative way. And rest in peace to Mr. Kevin Samuels. While I'm on the subject, they were just starting to make it more of a trend. They were influencing people in this way, or using these brothers' influence to like paint a narrative of, hey, stop it. You know that was off, but okay. Ooh, they didn't like where I was going with this. Okay, so those two influencers that I was talking about are an example. And more influencers that were men were blowing up. As long as they topic was about how black women quote unquote weren't this and that, it's like how do they feel? I want to know. How do they feel when they see the babies on the streets hurt like this, like the little young black babies hurting or being hurt? It doesn't matter what race of kids hurt them. Does it matter to them if they were if the child had a father or the father was absent? Does it matter now because they were so bold about speaking out about I think it's more that's why I'm trying to get people to understand, like, what if there's a whole agenda floating around out there, like we're going to dedicate our lives to breaking the homes of black women? Because at first it started with the mission of let's just talk about how more black men are fatigued by them and they're going to other races by them, and then it didn't just stop there. They wanted to actually like more showcase and show, and it looked like it just boomeranged every time because you don't do your own people like that. You wanted to show yourselves in foreign countries hanging out with other women and stuff and marrying them when you still had kids here in the state. Now, I personally haven't been through that. I'm saying some of the stories we've seen floating around on the internet already. So that's fine and dandy. It's like, what were you looking for? A reaction? It felt like that in the beginning. You wanted the whole culture and society of black American women to react to you going to other countries, starting new families, just because you have a human right to. No, some people are mature. They not as crazy as you thought, because why would they react to that? They might react to it on the internet with their opinions and stuff, but what kind of reaction do you expect, or were they expecting? Maybe this was some kind of agenda to pull us all closer together. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying maybe that went through somebody's head. If we break them more, surely they'll have no choice but to, go back to these ways that we think are so eminent, where the women were at home and they just let us do whatever we want to do. See, God see people's heart and intention. It ain't even just what you've been doing to families lately, or what we in the news have been happening to families lately. Even with the homelessness topic, all of that starts with family unit. There is no family or babies if you didn't create them. See, people just want to make it about watch your kids. That's what I have a problem with. We all know that. But remember the times when both parents were watching them? Both sides of the family are watching the kids. I mean, it's 12 cousins to call if somebody at the park getting jumped. It's ain't no calling the police if everybody family unit is coming strong like that. I don't know what part of society would be against that. It would make their job a little. They can relax a little bit more. You would still need them. I'm always believe in policing. I don't believe in policing being abusive, just like everybody else. But if all the men's in the family is already on the front line, which we not saying they not, because people got to remember that too. People can be protecting you. You don't have to see it. They don't have to like you either. And that's too much of what families have become. Do I like that person enough to be that to them? Of course you don't. You said you want to walk away from the black women and started these organizations and did this publicly. They started going more on social media with that first, but they say women be on here speaking up too much. They was out here talking about their race and dating preferences first, saying that they were tired and exhausted of black women's attitudes and how they live and how they can't keep money. Oh, suddenly the black women were such a burden. And that burdened God's heart to see people. It doesn't matter if they don't want me to talk about it or give my opinion about it. Maybe God let some of the black women feel his heart with that too. Because they made sure to do that. I don't know why. To publicize. Look, more of the black men, not only are we more desensitized because we ourselves are more feminine, some of them are open with that side of their lives too now. That's how much you've abandoned your community. Because to say, oh, well, I'm bisexual, which I'm not here to judge it. It's like, and then y'all are forcing the kids to understand it. Like, no, sweetie, mommy has a wife or daddy has a husband. Daddy has a husband and a wife. And you sitting up there forcing that child to, and you don't expect them to have no trauma, no kind of behavior did. And if they do, you shouldn't be sitting there punishing them off of things that they're being forced to understand just because of how you want to live. Oh yes, there's still black women out here that understand the concept this deep. It ain't even about race first. And if the fathers aren't in the home, how when it is a mother and a father, how are they learning a balance of what how a man is supposed to treat them, how a good man carries himself, all that type of stuff. Some people just stay the same. They say kids change you. Some people stay the same. Everybody don't change because they had kids. That's the problem. You know, they don't see okay, thank you. Let me help you. Hold on, y'all. I'm coming back. I had to help my daughter with something. Because they can listen to this now, replay it later. But every voice does matter out here. And it just showed that maybe what you're talking about is real. I'm even a woman myself. Like, I've been through things as a woman. I've been through things as a black woman. I've been through things as a young woman. There's so many different categories, right? Especially in modern day times. Like, what am I really? Trust me, people will look at you and size you up. Oh, you young, you black, you a woman. And to them, they done already calculated in their head everything you are based off of what they. I'm just trying to I'm having empathy for the mother that her baby just experienced this victimization. They probably like, why are you talking about her story, but then going back, bringing up the black men or fathers in general, black fathers. Yeah, I'm talking about that specifically. Look how many more stories is on the news. Actually, just with P. Diddy's story alone. What kids was that at the parties? Them kids was all racist. Some of these victims is all racist. Don't people see that? But some of them were kids. They were teenagers and stuff. Don't ask where the fathers are now. Some of them victims was from the 90s and early 2000s and stuff like that. If you think father not being involved also through a child's time of becoming a man or becoming a woman, why would you say that don't matter? A whole man giving that child an opinion every day of their life. A strong, bold, real, loving guidance into them becoming adults. If a young black, I didn't mean to say black boy, but if a young man don't have this figure all his life of how to treat a woman, he just went to school every day. He just lived his life, but he grows up. He get his first woman or second woman, whichever one it was. And he don't know how to handle her or treat her because, you know, he just know he wanted that. She look nice, she's nice. But when she start to look at it, the relationship look one-sided because he's never been taught to be a man. And, you know, women are not being funny with that. We're saying how the order is out of order. How you know how to have sex and make a baby, but you don't know how to like I said, everybody don't change just because like that quote is real. They be like, kids will change you. Only the real can say that, or only the ones you actually have seen drastically change since they had kids. You can say that about. Everybody don't sit here like, oh, it's time for me to change. I had kids. That's crazy. And then change what? Change what about them? You know, are people being taught that at home or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Or did they see their parent make some changes that might affect them and how they become parents in the future? Thank you. Now give it here. Thank you. Brush your teeth. That affects how like, oh, I saw, which some of us we did. We saw our parent at least make the effort, or we can say we seen it with our eyes. Like, hey, I've seen my parent like this, but I actually have seen my parent like make changes or try to. Kids notice that, or they might notice it later. They might say like literally, my parent was not the same person like all the way through. The some people that is their story. Whether they saw their parent change for the worse or for the better, or go back and forth in between it, that's something too. You are kind of shaping that child, like how to deal with their problems when they grow up one day, how to anger manage their anger and their bills. That's their first impression of that, whether it's a foster mom or they real mom. That's their first impression. Like, did they see you with different multiple boyfriends or girlfriends? People think that don't matter when they have sons too. They see their daddy with a new girl every every weekend. It's like, and then you wondering why your son got 12 babies and all the baby mamas calling you the grandpa later on one day. I mean, look what he saw you do. So that's why they were saying with those 8 through 10-year-olds, they feel like they learn that behavior somewhere. And to whole victimize a child where they could merely have died, like what kind of rage is on the inside of you, and why when people bring up demonic yeah, I don't know why my words went that way. I was finna say demonic depression, but I meant to say demonic possession. But maybe there is something demonic about depression if it gets unmanaged or untamed. It is a whole maybe space that people can find themselves into, like a tunnel, like a dark hole. Like, you need help getting out of it. And if you never ever ever end up finding the help that was sufficient for you, and that's where some of us do not only believe in God, but we share him with others, because maybe some holes are so dark and so deep, only God himself can. Sometimes it ain't that just only God can do it, but let's talk about what God can do best. People say that they believe in competitions and comparisons. I left off saying people believe in competitions and comparisons, but we're not just talking about what God can do, but what he might do best. BEST. Okay, thank you. I kept getting cut off trying to say that, but because even with Moses' story, the Pharaoh's witches kept trying to compare everything Moses was doing with his rod, and they would show like, yeah, we can do this too. So let's not just talk about what would Jesus do or what God can do, but let's start putting that word best at the end when people make choices to like put it in God's hands, or give God a chance to bring them out of a deliverance, because demonic possession might be very real. We watch it on the movies and stuff. So it had me thinking about like, maybe he is the only one can bring us out of certain pit. And who wants people to walk around here ashamed of that? And that could be a real thing too. People believe, there's a group and set of people out there that believe that all the women and mothers should be at home. Let me repeat this. They should be stay-at-home mothers. The whole campaign of presidency right now is Make America Great Again. And this was like the early settlement days of America. Like, people been asking that, what period of America are y'all talking about? Because America has had so many different changes and rebirths and opportunities, like that was supposed to be a free-for-all for everybody, you know. And people even came over here for better opportunities. So it's very real. And they said, make America great again. I don't say there's nothing wrong with wanting to see society go back to that part. It's the way they try to like bring it back that people will never forget. Cause were all these just a random increase in weird family stories, kids being found mangled and worse, or being abused in the hands and care of adults just because people need babysitters and daycares now because the mothers don't stay at home like they used to. Of course the mothers would be at home. You think the president and them don't know that? All they bills paid, and it's literally becomes law for everybody to stay at home. Kids will pay your bills. We just, here's a set of rules. That's what they tried with housing. Here's a set of rules. We'll pay your rent, but these are the rules. So they, oh, the chips. So they hurry up and shed spotlight all these different stories. Like, look how we're helping them with housing. All right, well, we might as well cut it off. These women aren't living like we want to, but let's not forget who brought housing and all of that into the picture to begin with. Black women didn't start off on housing. Black women started off with their own family homes. Even with the even during slavery times, they had shacks that the slaves, they had their own areas and huts and houses in the back of the plantations where their families lived. I can take it that far back with the knowledge. So how is that you living in a slave master's house or another person's house? They would have to squish up in their own little houses. But guess what? Their own kids would be there. Their own husbands would be there. They were still families. They still, for some reason, allowed the slaves to get married. Nobody finds that significant. They allowed them, and some of them, they arranged their marriages as well. History is very interesting. America's. Some of them, you know, they were split up because another slave family wants your daughter, wants your son. So you don't even get to stay in the slave house with the person you was born with. You now work over here with another black family. And you're now their daughter. You're now that slave master's property. Imagine that, which some of them went through that too. Like, imagine how many of our ancestors had so many different stories. We're seeing what some people are going through today. Them trying to manage, upkeep their family. You already a slave. Then they want to come in your house and dictate more of it. So as long as the black families know that, we started off in conditions you wouldn't believe. And you were taken from your native lands and islands and where you had your own better houses and systems and villages, and forced to come here and work and live a way more abusive lifestyle. Because let's talk about it. Why do they keep using abuses? Just like with this 5-year-old little girl. Clearly, if you got to take 2 years off of work because your daughter was abused that bad, you're clearly putting a roadblock in that whole little family's life. One delay, one major catastrophe. That's why some of us, we already moved the way we move. Like you are considering history with how today is right now and what you've been noticing. Maybe you made up in your mind like, no, bro, some of this is getting too close to like, or did it ever change? Did it ever really change? You keep using abuses against these same people? Abuses of power? Because if she's 5 years old and they older than her, like, that's what make you see where these ideas is coming from. Yeah, they said charge the parents and stuff, but you know, who are they parents? Who do they parents hang out with? What are they parents' beliefs? We got to look at that with people these days, because come on. Okay, come on. Go that way or that way. Because guess what? 9 times out of 10, whatever those parents and guardians' beliefs is, those kids are picking up on it. They gonna start. I'm so glad some of this stuff is now like in headline and investigated more. They call it satanic ritual abuses. Where would an 8 through 10-year-old learn to do that to a 5-year-old? I'm not saying that was satanic ritual abuse, but those rituals can look like that. They just sit here and believe in this stuff. That you get something out of, like, I wouldn't want to be a part of any religion. I gotta sit here and like break somebody and hurt them. And I'm physically doing it. I'm physically behind doing it just to get a blessing. That's not for me. No, I have not switched. They like, she ain't switched sides yet. No, not yet. Cause when I go back and think about, maybe that's what they're not doing. They looking at history in a way. Oh, we just want everything to go back this way. Like I said, my only issue with it is, even as a woman, because yeah, I feel like that's gonna put a halt to a lot of these news stories of these inappropriate assaults to children. The parents need to be at home more. You're preaching to them to go to work. Y'all know who used to go to work? The fathers, the husbands, the grandpas and uncles. All of them was at work, and I promise, the way it was in the 30s and stuff here in America, that's how they. I watch many movies about it, documentaries. They because they brought that over here from England, but even in other cultures, they had always believed that too. Like, the women are to more tend to the house, the garden, the kids, the food, and stuff like that, and cleaning and keeping everybody clothes clean. They didn't want them out there. Now a woman might be walking to work, and some psycho snatch her up, and she was just trying to walk to work. Something that's actually legal. She was probably trying to walk to a legal job, not even making money doing nothing that would hurt her or hurt others. You're going to be a cashier, or you're going to your regular job. These days, it's not promised. A woman might even make it home safe. Like, how is she getting there? I just saw something on a short where they're using some type of new creative way to snatch people up, I guess. Like, they leave money on their windshield, and when the lady reaches over to get the money or something, or it be some kind of powder on the money, if she touch her face, she just go to sleep, and they already watching a woman. So when she fall asleep, it's some weird stuff. Or they wait till you reach over and get the money, something like that, where you're distracted. I know for sure it had to do with putting money on a windshield, and that is crazy. Cause you as a person don't even know if them bills real. You gotta take them off, look at the money. How do you even know the money real? But most people, they'll just grab it off their windshield, and what's that called? They say if it's too good to be true, it usually is. They'll, oh, somebody just blessed me with some money. Let me grab this off my windshield. My point is, women and teen girls and stuff aren't safe just because they have cars. They even been preaching more for women, or let me say us or females, to stop sitting. You know how we'll pull up and just sit in a car. I know I had that bad. Like, you might just make a pit stop, or stop at the gas station, stop at the car wash, and you just find yourself, you're not even necessarily getting out the car. You sitting in the car playing music, doing what you do in the car, letting the kids play or something. They said they had been warning women to stop doing that. That's another tip of awareness. Like, stop sitting in the car. You get home, turn that car off, lock that car up, and go in the house. Like, but I remember the days, yeah, you could sit in the car, chill in your car and vibe out and hang out. Like, you got people running up on people just sitting in the car, putting weapons to the window, sizing people up. You seen that? That was on the news. How Beyonce car got robbed. It wasn't even her per se. Like, they robbed her. They robbed her, of course. If you go in somebody's car, you robbing them. I don't know why they don't look at that like that. Like, just because you didn't take the car, don't mean you didn't rob that person. Did you take one of their possessions out of the car? You see what I'm saying? So that's why her story had went viral at the time. But they say women, she wasn't sitting in it though, and somebody still broke in it. It was kind of foreseen, however y'all look at it, foreseen, predicted, prophesied. I heard it all kind of different ways years before now, that the devil was going to be trying to strategize some type of attack against women. I don't know if it have anything to do with why more of these kids are coming up like hurt or missing or what. And then they just want to say, well, the mother should have been there. Now, see, since they brought that into it, What have people been out here doing to the mothers then? You gonna penalize them and say they just wasn't there, they wasn't watching hard enough, so the child deserve? It just seems like that's what society trying to skate by with. No, that's still a child, even if it ain't your child. Like I said, and people be sitting up here dating, knowing they do not have patience for a child. They might sit there and just scream for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, because that's what kids do. They might draw a marker. They might use a marker and get it all over the wall. What else do kids do? They might get off into something. They might jump on the bed and they jumping on the bed. And after 2 minutes, the boyfriend he's ready to take his belt off. That's because that man don't take care of his own. He probably don't take care of his own kids. You just sitting over here talking about this your boo, and he suddenly get along with kids because he love you. This, it's like, yeah, the mothers do need to be at home. Who gonna be there teaching them, like, no, that's not right, young daughter. When you start dating, what are we saying? There's a lot of young women. They get a boyfriend that's not the kid daddy, and this poor kid is around this. Let me not say nothing like that, but they around this person because the mama is around. The mama letting them come around. They didn't say you young women can't date. What they said, because y'all was responding, talking about, don't tell us we can still date if we got kids. No, what they saying is stop bringing them to y'all house. Stop letting them kids spend the night, because, you might be a single mother. Your kid friend might have a mama and daddy. That means it's a daddy there every night. It's a man in their house. But your kid talking about, can they go spend the night over there? Oh, you just suspect, oh, her dad's nice. Because I have met friends with nice dads. That's not what I'm saying. But what kind of situation are you setting a child up for? Y'all asking why they be like, investigate the parents. Why are you the type of parent just let your child go over there and you knew the friend had a brother, a cousin, and a daddy, but you let your friend go, you let your son or daughter go over there, you thinking they okay. Oh, they just babysitting my child spending the night. Them days been over. But people think you being funny. Why she can't come to the spot? Why she can't come over here and spend the night? And the parents today, I'm just speaking up for the ones that have stood on it a little bit. They have stood on it as best as they can, because kids have always spent time with each other and do sleepovers and stuff and go outside and play. But like, look at this story. So people wondering, is it like adults sending these babies to do weird stuff to one another? Or is it the kid they self just sitting somewhere demonically possessed and they carrying out satanic ritual abuses on other kids still? Where did they learn it from? And in broad daylight outside, to me that's... And I want to consider that all parties involved are children. I don't know if other stations or channels or news stations are speaking this way. But just like the victim was a kid, with this story, it's viral and it's getting so much attention because the suspects were also kids. So you don't want to just be out here calling people kids demonically possessed and stuff. But you don't wait till they finna question you about it. What had you been noticing with your own kid? Because guess what? If they had already been biting and fighting and hitting and kicking and doing that to kids, why are you letting them run around outside with other kids? It ain't saying they can't go outside, but a kid like that, you got to be outside with them, because now you showing your parent that you do this to other kids. So now it's their parent responsibility to watch their kid when they go outside. Like, your kid already fight people. Your kid be biting. Your kid do that in the house. That's what kids don't understand. And you don't know what other kids do in their house before they even come outside. Before they even at school. Before they even at daycare. Before they even at the after school program. What do this kid do in their house, right? People want to wait till the stories go down and the kid done already hurt somebody. But 9 times out of 10, the parent already knew that kid was... It only come out in the news stories later. Like, watch. They probably come out later like, oh, turns out 8 and 10-year-old was already on medicine, or they was already receiving therapy, or They was already having behavior issues. It's too much of that going on. Why are they not telling us deeper, like, okay, this is how you manage, help the parents do that or something? You see, they need it. They wanted to have this mass thing go on where all the black men, a lot of black men walked away from the black women, and then, see, I bet that's what they was gonna say. See, now that there's no black fathers in the homes, look at what's happening to the kids. You shouldn't be sitting back praising that. You shouldn't be sitting back happy to see that it seems like the black woman and the black child is suffering because more of y'all encourage one another to date outside of your race. And publicly took a stand. They called themselves doing some type of public internet protest about it. How is that not some type of whole humiliation ritual on the black woman? Literally. Like, you want them all to feel that. And no matter how much they can look at each other and compare themselves to each other and be hating on each other right now, all of us have that in common. You got men sitting back seeing it. They not, I wouldn't say they laughing at it, but they pretty much find it interesting. Maybe they wash their hands like they said and said, well, black women ain't gonna change. They just gonna continue to do this with one another. Talk about an experiment. If you think people ain't sitting back studying and watching it, how seemingly there's more kids being abducted and more kids being hurt and more kids being exposed to things that like arts like Sexy Red, all at the same time while the black men walk away from the home. Because we're not saying all black men do that. Clearly there's many healthy TikTok families and stories that show us that there are still whole families out there that instill healthy lifestyles and relationship, exhibition to their loved ones. There is still a lot of black families doing that. So please do not misquote me. I was talking about an agenda that seems to be like floating around, in my opinion. As a whole, that doesn't mean that other group that still believe that it is not out here causing chaos so they can look right. It's good. You took your step already. Like, if you walked away from your black family or the black woman because you felt whatever, okay, cool. Like, if you get a cookie from the new race of woman, good for you. But why would you still be in the cut somewhere spying on the black woman trying to see how she getting by without you? In Jesus' name, I want to answer to that question. Even if y'all don't leave it in the comments, this is something to leave on the people's minds when we talk about insightful topics and awareness with domestic violence. Don't you leave the door kind of more open if you're not there at all to protect and serve, not waiting on the police to do it for your family. But you as the black man are already there on standby. Like I said, wouldn't they make the police probably been more busier than ever because they feeling more shoes. They not only are they already the police, they're being expected and called to fill in more shoes for families that they didn't even create. Do not think as black women we don't have our own assessments as to the vibes and energies that's been floating around here in society today. And they using AI to help them do it. It is so, what do I mean when I say AI? Any type of technology. And me, I just say stuff out of love. Like, it's just out of love. People be like, you talking rude or you coming off wrong. Maybe I just come off wrong, but you really mean it out of love. I'm talking about, do people know what an agenda is? That means a whole task, a whole list of plans to that you expect to get a result from. Like, usually people make a goal for a reason. They have something that they're trying to get on the other side of their goal. So, agenda. And people will call you a conspiracy theorist or an outlandish thinker or maybe even crazy sometimes for trying to bring awareness about Any other culture, they can talk about their family life. If I wasn't raised in a Hispanic household or a Vietnamese household or Filipino household or Australian household, how would I know how their family culture like is from day to day? You're talking about a specific nation or civilization of people in today's time. And it's not just, oh, we're tired of the black women. How y'all gonna say that when more stories been coming out of whole men of all races turning whole gay, bro? That's that's not any or what? That's everybody's story. Turned away and turned to men due to what some woman did to them. I know that ain't everybody's story. Most times when men are victimized in that way and they interested in a new thing, some other man experimented with them. Period. Whether it was wanted or unwanted, you didn't experiment with a woman to become gay. I'm sorry. Like, how does that happen? If you were with a woman, you either wanted to stay with that woman or you didn't. That has nothing to do with a woman. Okay, so like I said, some people live their life too, and they still be with women. As y'all know, some people be in the closet, some don't. For example, Lil Baby, a very famous rapper, just came out and they say he's open about it or something now, right? That can happen with any man at any time. He just come out and tell everybody they're supposedly a fan or love him, or some people do what they want to anyway because it's their life, regardless of what you think about it. They like, hey, this makes me happy. The same sex, so that's the life they live. Here, baby. That's why some look at it as selfish a little bit, because like, how do your new life now affect your children or your grandchildren? Like, are you still going to be active, or now your new life is all about your same sex partner, right? It could look a little selfish to people. Like, they not saying you can't live your life, but why would it change the family dynamics you believe in just because you start dating a separate sex? That's just one I never personally understood, right? Like, if you still the same person, I see what they mean, like, I'm not the same person due to your sexuality, but why would that change every single other thing about you? Like, if you once loved your brother before you was gay, why would that change just because you gay now? It's the questions I'm asking that can make things look agenda-ish. If people are really choosing it because that's what truly make them happy and they have a right to choose their sexuality, why bash a whole nother sex or a whole nother group of people while you do that? If you so content and so happy with what you are doing, you wouldn't have a need to do that. I see how they tried to keep it. Like I said, to me, the people that mainly care about it, which you can't even just say religious groups anymore, because there are some religious groups that actually marry in their churches. They marry gay people.
Mommy.
Actually, some of these pastors have been going viral for being gay. They just come out with it, right? While a lot of people are saying, oh, this new stuff is crazy. How do we know it was new? Maybe more people are just being open about it. And maybe the point of the agenda or the experiment is to ultimately see the reaction of women. Because just to say that it doesn't affect women is crazy. I believe it affects them, as the news been showing. Health wise, it affects the households, it affects the finances, and they making it, well, people should just go to work. So you're just gonna pretend these other matters in the world haven't been going on when they've been whole on the news. The world is crazy right now. Even if women don't speak up about it, like, I don't know, maybe I just say what people already thinking, or I'm still gonna give my opinion, because even in the future, this will be a time in history. People just be doing things in the present, forgetting that one day the present becomes history, the present becomes the past. There is no past to talk about unless you create that reality in your present. I hope that ain't too deep for y'all. Like, there's no future without the present. We know that. who's creating the future. It's whatever we're doing in the present that creates the future, right? We talk about that a lot here on the You Will Make It TV channel when it comes to like insightfulness and using stories to show us how we can be edified. I think other people just report these stories. But what we do is giving reaction and commentary is a little different because we're not here to report on stories. We're piggybacking off of stories that's already in the headlines and in the media when I explain myself about it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I might not have started the reaction trend. That I did not start. But giving my own personal reactions about life, it seemed like when you're talking about somebody else's life, they'll find something to say about that too. But when you talk about your own life, to me, people cannot judge that. That's just overstepping boundaries. In my opinion, a person can talk about their own life as much as they want to. If they want to write 30 books, 30 parts to a book, all you can do, you ain't got to read it. But if a person want to talk about their life on a podcast, in a book, openly, however they want to talk about it, people so quick to like try to squeeze in where they can get in so they can be a part of your life, but then they want to control how you talk about your life. Don't think God haven't shown black women the ins and out, because what if the attack the whole time was against you as a black woman? As a collective of black women, you had people publicly coming out saying, we walking away from the black women because of their attitude. I was just laughing as a black woman. I really did. Because tell me that ain't a public insult. Even if they was talking about not all black women, but most black women, you're still talking about black women. And I was black when that type of stuff was circulating on the internet. So I'm being serious. I was laughing when I would see that kind of stuff. Because you can become a man and give your own opinion about black women. But I said, why is it at the end of the day, all of their story was about some black woman that hurt them? I'm finna preach now. That's what make it look agenda-ish. You mean to tell me the only person that ever hurt you in life when you switched dating preferences was a black woman? No black man ever hurt you. Hurt your feelings, hurt your emotions, stole some money from you. That's I believe it. I believe it's possible in some people's life, because, you know, some people, a black person has never hurt them, period, in their life. Like I'm saying, it's just weird. It's agenda-ish to make it look like everybody issues is due to the black woman. We're not finna do that. God is using me to tell people we're not finna do that. Black women have helped to build a lot of great things in this country. Why are we so scared to say this or admit it or give it a little reverence that it deserves? People give their opinions about Kamala Harris. See, all they can do is, okay, they can give opinions about her and her being black. Like, okay, clearly people sat there and voted for Trump, and then they some of the same ones sitting on TikTok talking about they wish they didn't vote for him. So, yeah, I mean, that's just a black woman who was literally in the running of a presidential candidacy. But you're still trying to push the image to look like something else. I don't understand it about black women. If they were all lazy, how did she almost become the president? Okay? Maybe every black woman husband isn't black. This is not meant to be a racist live or offend anybody, but that is on the news about a group chat that just got leaked. And once again, I said I wouldn't repeat what some of those messages said, but they were pretty gruesome, and they were about black people. And then they might not ever reverence MAGA, but it was like, it made you think about it, because if you got threads like this circling around, and then people actually carrying out certain type of acts towards these type of people, well, what would you say about it? And they like, that's another thing God wanted me to call out, because it's like, you do know they right to say investigate parents. Even with that group chat, they was supposed to be a bunch of young college kids or something. I'm telling y'all, people don't just, oh, I'm in college for politics. Because we know, like, kids, I mean, people in politics, they kids right now might be in college or like learning as kids a lot about the law, just or about American law and American history. They get like first dibs to that because their families is already invested in that type of work. Then they'll look at you crazy. Why are you teaching your kids so much about the law and politics and stuff? Because I can. Who told you? Because we're from a certain environment or hood or story that our kids can also learn. Because you better know, Mr. Donald Trump's son was probably learning about the law by the age of 8. They have kids like us too that live like kids, but they just be having to learn more at an early age because of the type of work that their parents do. So to me, kids are always off limits, but it's like they try to prioritize which kids is more off limits than others. Well, let's look at it. When you're invested in a certain type of work, why wouldn't your kids be off limits? They not even out there on the platform yet. Or like I was trying to explain, just because somebody gets a little viral fame doesn't mean everybody they connected to is. You do got a lot of greedy people out there that might want they 5 minutes of shine too, just because somebody they know went viral. But not everybody like that. Like some are completely opposite. Like, no, I do not want the spotlight on me, headlights on me, spotlight and all this attention just because I'm attached to such and such. Or you knew I had a connection once upon a time. Y'all see how they've been trying to flip it out here? But to me, that's still not right or fair. You're going to force the spotlight on somebody because, like, oh, that's such and such's niece. That's such and such's. Maybe that's just how it go, though. I'm just trying to get people to see the realities of the internet today, too. And how that, too, can be used. This situation was actually a little different because most times when they out here beating up or jumping or abusing somebody, they're going to try to catch that on camera. Like, the literal abusers do this. This the generation we live in today. Like, they actually want to stream. They want people to see. They want to be able to post it on World Star Hip Hop. They want to be able to post it on Twitter. They want to be able to, like, show what they did. Then be wondering why they getting arrested so fast. You showing everything you doing right there on the internet. They still don't get it. You just don't understand that you're doing it for clout or you did it for fame. Like, that ain't never stopped somebody from getting arrested because you wanted to actually advertise your crime. Literally. You know how many stories and people they done picked up because they criminalized themselves right there on the internet. What they were doing to another person. How they was trying to make another person look. Because how are you trying to make another person look? Abusing them on live stream, bro. On like literally telling the people, look what we doing. And it be groups of them sometimes. That's one thing about it. It's like in this new generation, they definitely believe in it more than ever. Like, because I feel like there's always been cliques, groups, little friends groups and stuff people hang out in. So why do you see more older people acting childish and more kids feeling like they got to stand up and speak up? Literally. Because if you thought that's just, bro, that's happening everywhere. Even God been talking more through some of the kids. Some of the kids been having dreams and visions. Because maybe they thought that was a smart idea. Well, we want to take the roles and souls of the kids so we can carry on. These people are selfish. You want to live millions of years old when the next generation, that's their job. Like, that's literally, they have a right to their futures. You want to stay in your position so you can keep things to the same. That's a very vain way to think. The same or from progressing to a certain level of what? Anyways, it's crazy to think about, y'all. I'm finna come right back. It'll either be a part 3 or just us talking about that more because I'm very passionate about it when it comes to this. I did it a few streams in the past, years and years and years ago, about what I first, like a reaction to what I felt like the whole agenda of groups of men coming together wanting to publicize that they were walking away from black women. It didn't look good. It didn't, especially with what you're seeing transpire right after people were talking like that. Whether you want to call it cause and effect or staged or agenda-ish, we don't know yet. But you cannot deny the more frequent increase in abuses towards kids and these abductions and all this crazy stuff since more quote unquote men, because that wasn't fake, it was a real movement, like more black men specifically saying that they're going to go try their luck in other countries or with other nationalities of women. So now what are they saying? Because you got whole illegal immigrants being sent back home right now. That's why I say it's like it just sits there. I'm not saying nothing in particularly, but I'm saying it. I'm piggybacking off of what I said just a second ago. Like it does seem I don't want to say outlandish or like it's always a boomerang or a ricochet. Like how you gonna say, oh, I'm walking away from this culture of women, and then all of a sudden, all these other cultures of women that's not even legal immigrants are being sent back home. I mean, if you went over there to these other countries and stuff to marry women, that's what we would speak on follow-ups. Like some of them would bring their wives back to the States and like marry them here, or they would marry them over there and then they come move here and live a life. So I'd be like, what was the point? Because you have diversity and different nationality of women right here in the United States. But some of them, they just wanted to go abroad and in real life just go date over there for a little while, or whatever they was on. The only thing I saw wrong with that's just like picking up and abandoning. That's just like making different camps of families in different parts of the world. That's all you're doing. And maybe that's all it is to some people. They're not thinking about the family part of it anymore. It's all about colonization and taking over and what group can. It's like, really, we're back to this just because people start saying make things great again. Are people more living for themselves, or they're staying grouped up? And then what are these groups' agendas? Because I had noticed this too, like this strong fascination or obsession suddenly with black men, but this desensitized new image and status they were just trying to lay on black women all of a sudden. While you pat the black men on their back while they turning gay and going into more polygamous lifestyles, and okay, if everything was as positive as people are saying, once again, why are STD rates higher than ever? And above all else with them, we're talking about like long-term ones, like that there are no cures for, actually on a rampant spread today. And when they declare a crisis, which I'll be glad when they do, if it ever gets there, maybe it'll make people think a little more about why that type of lifestyle is irresponsible in a modern day time. Even at any time, you had society work so hard to defeat plagues and diseases and get medicine modernized to keep up with the diseases that be spreading out here, just for people to go out there and indulge in activities that would make these same sicknesses and illnesses resurface. That's crazy too, because if you really focus and tune in on breaking down a whole family unit, it would look like that. You got the men busy focused on one thing, the women busy focused on another thing, and the kids focused on what, the internet and gaming, and if everybody's in a family unit head is turned a different direction, why would they notice you turning them against each other? Why would they notice you doing that? I was just wondering. So of course, if you just get in a selfish place and just say, "Yeah, I don't, the black woman ain't for me no more," but you done already made a whole family with her, don't forget about your kids just because you want to go across the world and marry a Filipino woman or somebody who you feel like is more submissive and more, why would you're still abandoning a nation, making yourself feel better, saying you're abandoning your family for a different race. It's crazy. Like, that's what you're supposed to tell your kids later. How is that fixing the matter? And now your kids should not want to date black either because they saw mama or daddy switch. It's just crazy. Thank you guys. I'll be back with another topic soon.